Each and every month, I buy 200 shares. This is why I'm going to make this video. By the way, gone are the days where we used to keep the information. We're in the era whereby the information is already out there. And please kindly don't be watching my videos, giving me likes and commenting, say, hey Joseph, I love your videos, and you're doing nothing. You have your 300 shilling in your pocket. That's like $3. You have your $10, $100, 1,000, a million, whatever. You have some cash in, and you're just sitting on it. You're feared. You don't want to invest. You want to do something. And listen, let me tell you one secret. And by the way, for those who come from Kenya, have you seen how the stock market is behaving? So good. For those who actually bought some shares of some companies, have actually more than doubled. For those who know what I'm talking about, I don't want to mention those companies here anyway. I'm not advertising any company, but the point is this: I usually try the best as I can to. Right now, as we speak, in front of me is my computer, and I'm actually checking on how my shares are actually performing. And literally, immediately after buying the shares, I've actually come here to talk to you. And by the beginning of next month, God willing, by the I'm making this video at around 30th of October. We are beginning a new month. So I usually buy shares each and every month, at least 200. And if I have to go low, maybe 100 shares, okay? And remember, there's a video that I made here and I told you guys, be buying these shares constantly, even if you can afford only buying the minimum, which is 100 shares. Especially, let's say you're not even employed. You don't even have a formal job. There is nowhere you usually have some cash sent to a pension. You don't have anything that you're actually safeguarding your future. You are doing that. There is nothing is happening. Listen, let me tell you one thing. Right now you are active, you have the energy, you can work. But listen, one day will come whereby you won't even have that energy to work. And you'll be needing some systems and whatever structures laid down for actually to meet your needs and those kind of things. Now, what I'm talking to you right now is that I usually buy shares minimum 200. Let's say minimum, I usually go for 100 shares or stocks, however you're gonna call them. By the way, those names means the same. You can actually also call them stocks. You can even call them equity or equities. Now, I usually buy 200 each and every month, 200. And if I have to go low, a minimum of 100 shares. I try as much as I can to make sure that I buy these shares. And by the way, I don't even use like a huge chunk of cash, okay? But of course, I'm not a billionaire. Well, that's where I'm heading. But I'm not really a billionaire. You might be like, oh, Joseph, you're saying that because you have a lot of money. No. I told you, if you were to buy shares, let's say one share is going, for example, say even 4 shilling. 4 shillings is like $4, yeah? This will cost you like 800. 800 plus the broker's fee, that will cost you around, say, 50 shillings. That would, with only 850 shillings, you can actually buy 200 shares of a given company in a stock exchange. This 850 is like $8. You're good to go. You can buy shares. There's some even shares you can buy with as low as even 400, half of that. You have actually your shares. You can get started. So, reason why I buy these shares, first of all, I buy it for purposes of long term. Long term. By the way, if I buy shares, I never used to go back. I never go back there like constantly and checking how they are performing, if they are going low or going up. My target is not even about the capital gain. My target is largely on the dividend. Do you know why I'm talking about dividend, my brothers and sisters? Sometimes I feel like I can't even get inside this video and I tell you, please, after watching this video, go ahead, open that CDS account, invest on these shares. And by the way, if you have no idea on how you can actually invest on shares, my number is always on the description of this specific video. Take that number, give me a call. I'm not even expensive. Just a cup of coffee's price, I'll take you through step by step on how you're supposed to buy shares. Or you can actually buy my book. My book is only 280 shilling. That is like $3 or less than $3. You have that booklet. You can actually study what are shares, how you can get started. And there you are. Be an action-oriented individual. Do you know why you have not achieved what you call the resolutions that you wrote at the beginning of this particular year? Because you are procrastinator. You don't even stick to what you said you're gonna do. You're not disciplined to yourself. The biggest enemy of you is you. Come on, defeat you to conquer you so that you can actually become successful and you can actually achieve something. And I'm not arguing this from a person that has the manual for life. You know that people are saying, hey, Joseph, you're talking as if you have the manual for success in life. I don't have any manual. I'm only sharing with you that what I understand. And I do believe that it can be of help. Even what I'm doing right now, I actually learned it from somebody. Come on. Now, reason why I buy these shares, I buy them for the purposes of long term. Are we together? And the long term, I actually target what we call the dividends. For those who do not know, shares earns in two ways. Something called dividends. Dividends, in a layman's language, it is when a company makes profit, they share with me. When that big company makes profit, I'm entitled to earning a fraction of that given profit comes to my bank account. Are we together? And that is what I target. And I'm telling you, there is nothing sweet than just showing up to your bank and randomly you find there's a couple of coins in your bank. They just came from nowhere. Well, of course, nowhere really per se is because of the dividends that you have, but you just randomly there are some few thousands or whatever they are throwing in your account. That is so good, because if you can build that structure, if you can build that system, if you can build that thing and make it a bit bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, a time will come. For example, today I'm making this video on 30th. I turned 33 2 days ago. On 26th, that's when I turned 33 years old. Okay? Now, literally in the world, when you hit 60, you're regarded as a retired individual. Assuming by God's grace, okay, I focus on buying those shares continuously. Let's even not talk about 60 years. Let's even talk about even 40 years, 7 years from today. How much do you think I would be having in terms of the shares that I've bought and I've accumulated? And how much do you think I'll be getting as a remittance, as what you call the dividends? How much do you think I'll be getting that if all goes well and by God's grace? Are we together? So that is exactly how you do it. And that's why you find somebody at 45, when you're at the prime. At 45, you find you have a lot of bills to pay. Probably if you have a family, you have like several kids there. Maybe they're going to high school or something of sort, or maybe college or whatever. The thing is that 45, you find that this is that particular time you should really contemplating up. By the way, I don't know whether you know this. At 45, most of the people get confused. Why? Because you really have a lot of things on the table. Like you have some kids who are going to high school, or if maybe you say you married earlier, you find that some kids who are going to university or something, or so. If in case if you are a lady, then at the same time you're supposed to be thinking about your retirement, because at 45 you're smelling 15 years from now I'll be at 60. My production will actually go down. So that's why you find somebody, if you're not doing well financially at 45, you tend to have this what we call the anxiety. And the moment you suffer from this anxiety, that's what transitions to what we call the stress. The stress goes to the depression. Depression goes to mental health. And from mental health, there you are. You sort of give up in life and something of sort. Okay? So before it actually reaches there, let me tell you one secret. And I'm not saying that whatever I'm saying here, it will actually work 100% sure. I'm not even sure about my life. Nobody knows. Our life actually hanging on the grace of God. That's what we do. But what we do is to control the controllables. You do that what you can. There is nothing worse than hitting that age and knowing that I could have done something, but you did not do it. So you're actually riding on regrets. You'd rather do something, it doesn't work, and be like, you know what? I did. You know what that Joseph says? I did all those. I tried all what I can, but it never worked. You get what I'm saying? So the point is, I usually buy these shares. And I tell you, okay, this is a so personal information that I should not be sharing with you, but I feel like I have the obligations to share with you. I buy these shares for the purposes of long term. And I do so because I'm looking forward to getting dividends. So one way shares make money is dividend. The other way is something called capital gain, of which I personally I don't really look upon it. It's called the capital gain. Capital gain is simply where you find the share, say you bought at 200, or you bought at 10, or you bought at 15, has actually increased in terms of the pricing. So that marginal difference between what you bought and what it is right now, or what you can sell potentially, is what we call the capital gain. Are we together? So the point is, for me, I concentrate much on this. There are big companies like hedge funds and what have you, they concentrate on the capital gain. You find that, for example, a very big company, I think it's the biggest on earth, called the BlackRock, came to Kenya and dumped, or rather bought some, hundreds or tens of billions of shares in Kenya, and then once they realized a profit, they dumped those shares, and then they went back to their country. So they usually capitalize on this. For them, they are not concentrating much on the dividends, especially when they go to other countries and what have you. But I'm not arguing as if I understand their policies. Okay, pick that information with a pinch of salt, okay? And I stand corrected. Now, see, capital gains, you find most of the people who have money. There's some people who actually, for example, there was sometimes, don't want to mention the company, somebody, a mysterious individual, just bought shares worth, I don't know, 1.2 billion. That's like $10 million or something. Just somebody, an individual, just buy that shares, and then you see, the moment you have a huge chunk of cash, you can leverage on a small increment. For example, you can even buy shares at 11 shilling. Okay, let's use the $11, okay, for the purposes of international viewers. Let's say you buy it at $10, and then all of a sudden it increases to $11. That a marginal difference, even $0.5, and you're actually leveraging on a huge chunk of cash, you're gonna make a huge marginal difference. Are we together? So that's why I always tell you, be buying these shares. You don't have to buy 200. Are we together? Don't copy paste me like the way I'm doing the things. You can actually buy 100 shares. You can even buy, say, I don't want to say less than that because that's the minimum that you can buy. You can even buy 1,000 if you have the capacity. So, but for the sake, make sure that you do something. Make sure that you do something. You keep on pumping something. And I'm telling you, with a certain period of time, and of course, buy with a purpose. Buy with a target of, say, from now in 10 years' time, from now 5 years' time, from now in from now, you can actually leverage on that. For example, next month, I'm making this video on 30th of October. Next month, on the 5th, we're going to be having a US elections. So how about you say this? Whoever going to win, of course, they're going to be there for 4 years, okay? Now, you give yourself a target, be like, okay, let's say whoever wins on 5th and becomes the president of the US for the next 4 years, by the time now we are thinking about elections, I'm going to have my target and this and this and that. By the way, that's exactly how I do it. For example, there's an MMF I opened back when the current president of Kenya was actually elected. That was back in 2022. I was like, okay, this guy gonna come back and tell us to re-elect him again on 2027. So how about I give myself a target? So you get into that, you target that period of time. Usually have those targets. As people are waiting for them to elect somebody, you're waiting for yourself to reap something out of an investment. So, well, or whatever I'm saying right now is actually to explain why I buy these shares constantly using this kind of a formula, because there is a target that I am aiming for us to, or for me to achieve, because I'm not employed by the government. I've never been employed personally. I'm actually a dude. I'm actually a street person. When I say street person, I mean like this individual who, survives by you being smart on the street and by the grace of God. That is exactly what you do. And you can actually leverage on this. Do not despise that small amount of money you have. Yes, you might look at it and be like, this is 5,000. For God's sake, what can even I do with this 5,000? 5,000 in Kenyan shilling, 5,000 in terms of a dollars, that's like less than $50, stock of 40-ish something, dollars or something. So you're like, this can't even achieve more. But don't despise it. Concentrate on that what you can. Control the controllables. Use that what you have before you get that what you want. And then there, push it along the way. And I'm telling you, well, I know it may sound as if I'm preaching, but I have to say it. And then, of course, God himself can be like, you know what, this guy can actually manage $50. Okay, let me give him 100. Let me give him her 200 or something of sort. Then progressively, you can achieve that particular goal. Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm almost even begging you to invest. You're not even investing for me. You know why I feel so bitter? Because I was actually interacting with some of the guys who work on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, that's like our New York Stock Exchange. And they were telling me, and of course I've been saying this earlier on earlier videos, that the biggest investors on our exchange are not even Kenyans. They're actually foreigners. I don't have a problem with foreigners investing anyway. We need them. We need those FDIs, the foreign direct investment. But at the same time, we also need to have Kenyans being educated on why we should even entrust our stock exchange by ourselves. Another thing that is so discouraging is that I think the last time we had like a listing, I think it was 4 years ago. The last time we had a new company being listed, on the becoming public. Okay, I don't even know whether you know what I'm talking about. So guys, please, let's be individuals who actually embrace investments, and that is the only way how we can grow ourselves. As much as the governments have their roles and they have something to do for our lives, we also need to do something for the sake of our lives so that we can progress ourselves and move to the next level. Well, I hope I made sense out of my video. Yeah, sure. If I did, then make sure that you leave a comment on the comment section, and make sure that again you go ahead and pick that number of mine if you'd like to get my services in one way or the other, or make sure that you leave me a question on the question or rather on the comment section, so that I'll be getting back to them and be able to respond to it, and we can do something. And by the way, don't forget, I have booklets on investments, and they are there for you, ready for pick. Pick that number, shoot me a text on the WhatsApp, and also on the email if you like to go the email way, and you can get a copy. For now, it's a good line. See you in the next one.